Good morning, Nebraska. This is the Nebraska News Radio Show, coming to you straight from the heart of the Cornhusker State, where we talk plain about the things that hit close to home for farmers tilling the soil, families raising kids in our small towns, and hard-working folks who built this place with sweat and grit. We are here every morning to cut through the fog and shine light on what is really going on in our great state. Let us start with the changes hitting our communities hard, especially in Omaha, where a whole network of organizations and charities has turned the city into a major hub for bringing in immigrants and refugees from all over the world. Groups like Catholic Charities and Lutheran Family Services are pulling in federal dollars to provide shelters, food, jobs, and schooling for newcomers, many arriving straight from the border or overseas camps. Meatpacking plants rely heavily on this low-wage workforce, while taxpayers foot the bill for schools packed with English learners and public services stretched thin. Folks are asking if this is helping our communities or changing them forever without our say-so. This ties right into the bigger picture across Nebraska, where our state is seeing more folks from Africa, South Asia, the Middle East, and Hispanic countries settling in, especially in places like Omaha, Lexington, and the meatpacking towns. Pathways range from official refugee programs to family reunions and, looking back, decisions by past leaders like former Governor Kay or still haunt us today. Her time in office gets blamed for letting big meatpacking plants flood towns like Lexington with cheap labor, kicking off waves of demographic upheaval, crime spikes, and strained schools that turned solid communities upside down, all to favor corporate bottom lines over local families. And now, we have got Secretary of State Robert Evnen under fire for signing a deal with Kenya to bring in hundreds of truck drivers, claiming it is just about student exchanges and apprenticeships, but critics say it is opening the door to more unvetted foreigners who might not know our roads or rules, raising real worries about safety on our highways and more strain on our towns. This kind of thing feels like our elites are selling us out, hiding behind legal shields that protect them from the messes they make, while everyday Nebraskans deal with the crime, the costs, and the chaos. On the foreign influence front, there are real worries about Chinese companies and investors getting hold of Nebraska farmland through direct buys, leases, and partnerships with big agriculture firms. Even if outright ownership is small, the ties run deep into seed production and pork operations, raising flags about food security and possible spying near military bases. Some point fingers at leaders like Governor Jim Pillen and Senator Pete Ricketts for business connections that put profit ahead of protecting our soil from outside control. Speaking of Pillen, folks are calling him out as a bumbling leader, stumbling through speeches and decisions like he is half asleep or worse, with whispers of personal habits that make him unfit to steer our state straight. It is like having a puppet in the governor's office, dancing to the tune of big money handlers instead of standing up for the little guy. Over at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, Chancellor Joanne Lee is facing questions about her own background and whether she is even a citizen, with gaps in her story from Hong Kong roots to Canadian upbringing and no clear records showing she became one of us. Meanwhile, she is overseeing scholarships that favor non-citizens and minorities, leaving American-born kids, especially our white Nebraskan families, feeling shut out of opportunities they have earned. This kind of favoritism smells like a scam, diverting our tax dollars to outsiders while our own get the short end. In Lincoln, Mayor Lyrian Gaylor Baird is drawing heat for gaps in her own history, like missing details on her family roots, all while pushing policies that welcome immigrants, slap on gun restrictions, and enforce mask rules that divided folks during tough times. Her fancy lake house raises eyebrows too, making her seem out of touch with the working people she claims to serve. And let us not forget the broader pushback against what some see as a systematic undermining of our white heritage, drawing parallels to places like South Africa where integration led to loss of control, crime, and erosion of the foundations built by our pioneers. Here in Omaha, the shift toward more black leadership and policies favoring minorities has folks worried about the same path, with rising crime and strained resources hitting our neighborhoods. Shifting to sports, because it is close to our hearts, the Nebraska Huskers football program wrapped up another rough season under Coach Matt Rule, ending with a lopsided loss in the Las Vegas Bowl. From backward strategies on the field to a team culture that feels out of step with our values, With players acting up on the sidelines and top recruits like Dylan Raiola heading out the door after injuries and poor handling, it has got fans wondering if the program is ever going to turn around. Recruiting misses, especially ignoring in-state talent, and leadership failures from the athletic director on up have turned what should be our pride into a punchline. That is the lay of the land this morning in Nebraska. We have got outside forces creeping into our farms, factories, schools, and even our government offices, while leaders too often seem to go along instead of standing firm for the folks who have called this state home for generations. It is up to us to stay sharp, ask the hard questions, speak up at town halls and the ballot box, and hold the line for the values that make Nebraska special. Keep your eyes open, get involved where you can, and join us again tomorrow for more Straight Talk. This is the Nebraska News Radio Show, signing off until next time. Have a strong day out there.